Well, life is often punctuated by moments that straddle the before and the after. And this week, the plan was to highlight our rapid descent into the outright silliness of cancel culture, to explore how a fight to end the pain of everyday Americans has devolved into a rudderless movement to vilify any and everything we have ever known. And then I received the heartbreaking news that a man I consider a mentor, Bishop Omar Jahwar of Texas, had passed away. And so suddenly, the war on Pepe Le Pew and Speedy Gonzalez no longer occupied a position of urgency in my heart. Now, Bishop Omar was a man who dedicated his life to doing the unseen work in service of the people society invariably writes off. In a world increasingly more concerned with the symbols of change than the substance of lasting reform, Bishop pioneered new methods to actually accomplish the good works we often speak about, but rarely achieve. In a Texas prison system filled with gang members, he became a gang interventionist before the job description ever existed. In a society paralyzed by divisive politics, he reached across the aisle with love to men like former Speakers of the House Newt Gingrich and Paul Ryan to impress upon them that the plight of poverty in urban America should not be political. Now, Bishop Omar founded an organization called the Urban Specialists back in 1998. Their mission was to insert themselves into communities that have been forgotten and to intervene in the lives of people society has disregarded to help heal the trauma that inevitably bleeds into society at large. Now, at a time when the world feels incredibly broken, when we are so consumed with anger, we seem intent on lashing out at anyone who does not completely agree with us, even a cartoon skunk, I thought this might be the perfect time to honor his life's work and hopefully help put back into focus what America should be focused on today.
I can't tell you how many funerals I have done of young people that I looked at on Monday, alive and well and breathing, and I had to bury them on a Saturday. This is not how it's supposed to be in urban communities. This is wrong. We believe as urban specialists that safety is the primary measure of whether a community can survive. The best way to help a struggling community is to empower the individuals that are inside that community to be the change. You have guys who run the gangs. We say, can you drop your product and pick up ours? We say, can you become a part of our network? Anton Lucky is the epitome of an urban specialist.
I grew up in the projects. My mother was 16 when she had me. I didn't have many good role models. Me and a couple of my friends, cousins, we said we were gonna be blood gang. We were gonna be the Bloods. Eventually, I was sentenced to prison for a lot of the stuff that I was doing. And then in prison, this guy pulled me to the side and said, "Little brother, you're a leader." And that was something I had never heard. And he said, if you can lead these dudes to do wrong, you have the power to lead them to do right. I attribute my transformation to him. No one knows how to keep a kid out of a gang better than someone who ran a gang themselves.
In the schools, when we engage, there's a decrease in truancy. There's a measurable decrease in disciplinary actions. There's a decrease in violence. In the communities, the violence goes down.
We've partnered with law enforcement to go into communities, to bridge the gap between law enforcement and community. We host a series of community conversations. We bring in lawyers, judges, prosecutors, and we introduce them to the community so that we foster the dialogue between community and that profession. Our families, our kids, our communities, they appreciate that. I mean, they really do.
There is nothing greater than to live in a community without fear.
This is my man.
Get a hug.
Yeah, we go way back. This is my man right here.
Way back, man.
Way back. Yes, sir.
A fearless community becomes a powerful community because they start seeing things as solvable. I think the most important thing that everyone should know is that transformation is possible. And we are here to make it happen. There comes a moment where the change is here, not coming. Where change is absolutely here. And this is that moment.
The first time I met Bishop Omar, he only asked me 2 questions. Do you fear God? And do you love people? Because you see, Bishop didn't care where you worked or what your voter registration card said. All he wanted to know was who you were trying to help. President John F. Kennedy once wrote, "The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable man persists in trying to adapt the world to himself." And therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. Well, Bishop Omar Jahwar was that unreasonable man in a world where reasonableness had created a cocoon of violence and death for too many of our neighbors. Today, we need an army of unreasonable men and women like never before. We need an army of American specialists who are willing to recommit to the people in need, not the outrage of the moment. Because arguing about cartoons does little to cast light into dark places and set the captive free. All it does is keep us all a prisoner of our own discord and shared discontent. And that's not just beneath the dignity of this nation. It is a betrayal of people like Bishop Omar, who worked diligently to leave us with a blueprint